My name is Jacob Walsh, and I am leading with ADHD. Leading from the front, back, upside down, left, right, leading with ADHD. As an adult living with ADHD, life can be quite hard to lead at times. Friends start to ask why I don't want to watch movies with them, or why I walk away from them at parties. Sometimes I find myself in another room, but don't really recall walking there. Some jobs don't allow the ADHD mind to wander. Often, I find leftovers on the counter. Sometimes things just take me longer to complete. Memories of the past can be messy and jumbled, which can make relationships and friendships difficult. It can be frustrating when I get a notification about another engagement that I've missed, maybe even have forgotten to put on my calendar. Life with memory issues and a lacking attention span can be taxing, but above all else, I like to move, and so do nearly 9 million adults and 6.5 million children in the United States. But if you think those of us living with ADHD don't have the skill set to be the movers and shakers of the 21st century, you're dead wrong. I'm here today to tell you how students diagnosed with ADHD have the talents, strengths, and untapped potential to be the leaders of the classroom, leaders of the community, leaders of a company, and leaders of the country. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to... These lyrics are being piped down the neural pathways of my brain nearly every day like an instruction manual cranked to 11. Now, you might have finished the lyrics to the song in your head, and it's likely you already know some about King Julian, the egotistical lemur king from the Madagascar movies and series. I want to dive in and analyze the leadership of this lemur king from Madagascar with ADHD. King Julian has a large group of followers for a couple of reasons, namely his drive to seek new ways for his people to have fun and his honest and straight-shooting personality. He is the life of the party, making everyone feel welcome and encouraging them to enjoy themselves. His ridiculous schemes to create even more entertaining opportunities for his people are just one of his lovable traits. King Julian is also blunt, often telling the truth when it stings a tiny bit, and even admitting his own mistakes. There's some of those strengths I mentioned that ADHD people have. His biggest struggle is his characteristic ADHD, which King Julian is slow to admit or talk about. You know, we all probably struggle with our biggest flaws and insecurities. We don't want to tell other people about them. So hear me when I tell you that I'm more like King Julian than I care to admit. It's the summer of 2010. I've got a year of college under my belt, and I'm working at a church camp all summer long. The 90 and 100-degree days didn't stop me from brainstorming ideas and putting in the work and effort to make my dreams of more fun come true. Each week, many campers would mention that I was their favorite staff or ask me specifically to visit their cabin later in the day. My people. They enjoy my quick wit, my adventurous spirit, and my passion to change their lives for the better. They respect my leadership, and for that, I can't repay them. They set me on a path towards a career in special education and a life dedicated to serving others. But they helped me to learn that I could be myself, a skinny nerd with ADHD and mediocre athletic skills, and I can still be a leader. It's more than okay to be different. It's what makes us, us. Those of us with ADHD are more than people who can't remember what they had for lunch today and want to keep things moving. We are key contributors in the advancement for humanity. It's said to be likely that Da Vinci had ADHD. It may be hard for many of us to imagine someone with ADHD painting the detailed intricacies of the Sistine Chapel or sculpting David. But the reality is that many other creative and inspirational figures line the pages of our history books. From Justin Timberlake to Emma Watson, and from Simone Biles to Jim Carrey, there are well-known leaders in many fields, even today. They are truly achieving success on a grand scale while managing their symptoms of ADHD. Take Daniel Coe, one of Forbes 30 Under 30 and the chief of staff to Boston's mayor. He has a couple of degrees from a little school named Harvard, and he's using those to manage nearly 18,000 employees for the city of Boston. Dan clearly has a grip on how to be successful as a non-neurotypical person. He says, ADHD has caused me to learn practices and habits that I wouldn't have learned otherwise, and I see it as a strength. Dan believes, like me, that even those diagnosed with ADHD can offer their strengths to the world as leaders. In 2018, Dan lost the Democratic House primary in Massachusetts by only 150 votes. He took 2020 off to devote his energy to the coronavirus pandemic and getting Biden in the White House. But his career in politics is far from over. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I believe deeply in the public sector and its ability to make people's lives better, Coe said. These are the words of a leader with ADHD, honest, excited, and moving forward. People with ADHD are creative, energetic, and often charismatic. We can come off as outspoken, zealous, or extreme. We can be abrasive when we speak our minds, or maybe you find it annoying that we seem to float around the room like a ship in a harbor, unanchored. We can't help it. That's just what our brains tell us to do. Fortunately, the students of today are provided with special education services that include 504 and IEP plans that help them achieve their goals in life. Students with ADHD may need additional support in the areas of homework, organization, and planning skills, or HOPS. But with individualized instruction and a wealth of technology and resources at their disposal, many of these students are likely to qualify for advanced placement or honors courses. They can go on to be widely productive members of society. King Julian may be off his rocker. Da Vinci might have been a recluse, but the leadership exhibited by Dan Coe is just one modern example of students with ADHD using their strengths and resources to achieve successful leadership positions. I said earlier that it can be difficult to lead a life with ADHD. But today I say that the biggest challenge that comes with living with ADHD is to lead the lives of others. It's certainly the road less traveled, and it isn't easy, but someone has got to guide others to move it.